My name is Tosing Omolaja, and you're welcome to NAFDAC and Your Health, where we bring you all the important information you need to know about NAFDAC. The agency is saddled with the responsibility of safeguarding our health by ensuring that the foods, drugs, cosmetics, and medical equipment made available to us are safe and wholesome. On today's edition of the program, we bring you exciting news of progress in our country's fight against the deadly coronavirus. Nigeria has recorded over 165,000 cases of the virus infection, with over 155,000 discharged cases and, sadly, over 2,000 fatalities. Earlier in the year, NAFDAC gave approval to the AstraZeneca vaccine, and the country has now received its first batch of 4 million doses of the vaccine via the COVAX program. The agency has followed that up with the approval of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine after a long and rigorous process of ascertaining its suitability for the Nigerian population. The Director-General of NAFDAC, Prof. Mojisola Adeyeye, made the announcement in Lagos on Friday, the 30th of April, 2021.
For Pfizer BioNTech, we've given the approval for emergency use authorization. It is not a full approval, and it is within the period of starting or getting people vaccinated and gathering data about the adverse events following immunization. It could be slight fever, it could be pain at the site of injection, it could be chills. There are so many of them. It is after that approval for emergency use that we start gathering with data. And this data gathering is not limited to NAFDAC alone. NAFDAC belongs to an organization called ICMRA, International Coalition of Medicine Regulatory Authorities. It is a global gathering of regulatory agencies across the world. We share our experiences. For example, for the AstraZeneca vaccine, the first phase just got finished. We started gathering data about events following immunization. NAFDAC launched MedSafety app last year. It is an app that can be downloaded on the App Store, iPhone, or Android, and it is from that app or through that app that we gathered a lot of data. In areas where the internet connection was not good enough, there's what we call the yellow form, because the pharmacovigilance or safety monitoring group in NAFDAC trained people across the country, disease surveillance staff from different agencies, our own pharmacovigilance staff, to use the app or to collect the events following immunization using the yellow form. That is what we share as a regulatory agencies with each other. Why? Because we want to be sure that all the facts that follow immunization are gathered, that it is transparent. If there are 10 people that have reaction, like allergic reaction to the vaccine, we've got to report it, so that the package insert that came with the manufacturing, which is the leaflet pack that you see in the bottle of any medicine or the container, so that that package insert could be modified if possible. Because before the emergency use authorization, different clinical trial phases had already taken place. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. But those studies were done in controlled environment. When you are doing clinical trial, you have what is called the exclusion criteria. inclusion criteria. Which patients or subjects should be there, should not be there. That is for phases 1, 2, 3. And phase 3 has thousands of subjects. The more, the better in terms of data. However, whatever was observed up to phase 3 may not be the only thing that will be observed, or only things rather that will be observed when it goes to a bigger audience. And the bigger audience or medium now is where we are. Because as we speak, we have vaccinated more than 1.5 million people in Nigeria with AstraZeneca. So whatever you didn't see among thousands of people in phase 3, you may see it in what is called phase 4, or post-marketing phase, which is where we are right now. That is why the data gathering is extremely important. And we are sharing it as we speak so that that package insert may be modified. If there is no particular observation that was not made before, if an observation was not made before, it will now be included. To test for antibodies is now getting into active pharmacovigilance or safety monitoring. And it is a research, a clinical research that could take anywhere from 1 to 3 years. Bearing in mind this is a new product in the market. We have just started gathering the data. We call it cohort event monitoring, where you look at immunogenicity, reactogenicity, and start tracking and tracing the antibodies. That cohort event monitoring from the proposal that we submitted will take place in 6 cities based on the geographical zones. And we are also working with international partners to ensure that we have a robust set of data. So for Pfizer BioNTech, our country can import it or get it from COVAX facility. COVAX facility is a group of agencies that come together to ensure that low, middle-income countries can get access to vaccines. And Pfizer BioNTech vaccine is one of them. However, how it is gotten is Ministry of Health and Primary Health. The function of NAFDAC is to approve so that if it is going to be ordered, it can be ordered. That will be the end of my presentation. I will welcome a few questions before the close of the press briefing. Thank you.
Due to COVID-19 restrictions, journalists from media organizations around the country joined virtually, with the exception of a few who were present in the room with the Director General. The question about how the agency goes about approving the vaccines was raised.
We have multi-directorate group in the COVID vaccine committee. We have registration, we have laboratory, we have pharmacovigilance, we have drug evaluation. It's a multi-directorate group, and each directorate looks at their own section to ensure that the review is thorough. So it is not just that we get review or assessment report from another organization, bigger organization, and just approve. No. But it gives us a good platform to start. But we do our own thorough examination. We use 5 working days, almost like sleepless days, to review an application that has already been approved by a regulatory agency bigger than us or more mature than us, or that has been reviewed by WHO and given emergency use listing. So we do more than dotting the I's and crossing the T's. If I imply that, that is not correct. It is science. Because let me give you an example of the laboratory. The laboratory is all science. And if this vaccine was tested using a particular methodology, our own laboratory staff must understand that methodology. We must have the tools to test after. Just like we did for AstraZeneca, we have to test the product to make sure that what we are getting is what we should get. And even on the field, after the product is already in the supply chain, we can withdraw samples to ensure that it hasn't broken down. So we do more than just a cursory review.
From the Daily Sun came the question seeking to clarify what it really means to give an emergency use authorization approval.
For regular commodity or drug, for example, the market authorization holder comes with the dossier. And we look at it to make sure that the science is sound, that the regulatory concerns are met, the safety, of course, and efficacy prime, and then we give full approval. That is the regular drug. But for vaccines, this COVID vaccine, globally, we only give for emergency use only. Emergency use authorization. Because I mentioned at the beginning that it is a new product, it's a biological product, it is for a pandemic. There are some things, some data or events that mightn't have been captured at the point when phase 3 was done that could now be captured. Just like, and also quality observations or quality attributes. Like the temperature that they thought it was -80, -90 before, now it's -25. So that is the difference between emergency use and full approval. And during the emergency use authorization, like where we are now, we keep gathering data globally, especially the safety monitoring, of course the quality also, and sharing the data so that whatever was the information that the manufacturer had originally may be modified. May not be modified, but may be modified because new events are now being observed. After that, the market authorization holder or the applicant can now submit a full application that we will now take through our regulatory process for full approval.
NAFDAC and your health will be right back. Please stay tuned.
The MedSafety app is the latest reporting tool introduced by the National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control in November 2020 as part of the Innovative Medicines Initiative project. The app is made available to the public in collaboration with World Health Organization, Uppsala Monitoring Center, Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, UK, and National Agency for Food, Drugs and Administration and Control, NAFDAC. The MedSafety app allows users to track safety information of medicines, vaccines and other health products, report adverse drug reaction to a medicine or vaccine, and view data on suspected side effects. When you have received your COVID-19 vaccine, you can use the MedSafety app to report any adverse reaction or side effect you may feel. The app can be used by anybody, irrespective of whether you are a medical practitioner or not. You, your family and friends, everyone can download and use the MedSafety app to report adverse drug reaction. Just search for MedSafety on Google Play Store for Android and App Store for iOS. When using the app for the first time, the user needs to select his or her region. In this case, Nigeria, and also choose the preferred language of choice. The user will then be taken to the login page where you create an account by providing your email and password or proceed as a guest. To create an account, you are required to provide the following details: reporter type, example, physician or pharmacist, as well as their name and email address, password with at least 9 characters with 1 uppercase letter and a number. Read the privacy statement and accept. Once you are logged in, the user is presented with a number of tabs, which includes news, products and watch lists. Under the Report tab, the user can report a new suspected adverse drug reaction ADR. On opening a new report, the user is prompted to input patient details, which include initials, sex, and date of birth. The user is then required to input details of the suspected medicine. These include suspected medicine name, other drug details such as strength, batch, dosage details. Multiple suspect drugs and concomitant drugs can be added at any time. The report can be saved and completed at a later time. A saved report can be found on Pending Reports and can be continued by clicking on the report and continuing from where the user stopped. Enter reaction details, reaction date and outcomes. Multiple suspects' reaction can also be added. Also, further details about the report can also be included, such as did the reaction cause prolonged hospitalization, disability, congenital anomaly, or birth defect, life-threatening results in deaths, and so on. Finally, you can also add details of any relevant medical history before submitting the report. The user receives a message on the app confirming submission and an acknowledgement in the mail for submission. Reports can be created and saved without internet connection and be sent whenever internet connection is available. The product tabs show all medicines in the NAFDAC list database. It's easier to navigate to a drug or vaccine of interest, and this data is obtained from the WHO Uppsala Monitoring Center. User can also add products of interest to their watch list to get the latest information on the drugs. All products added to the watch list can be viewed in the watch list tab. The News tab displays drug safety information by NAFDAC. This is usually up to date with drug safety information. Registered users can also edit their profile or change app settings. For more information on the app, please contact the National Pharmacovigilance Center (NPC) at NAFDAC headquarters, plot 2032, Olusegun Obasanjo Way, Wuse Zone 7, Abuja, or call 09290511110 or send email to medsafetyapp@nafdac.gov.ng or pharmacovigilance@nafdac.gov.ng.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, you are watching NAFDAC and your else. The concerns about the capability of the country to adequately maintain the cold chain of these vaccines was also raised.
The Pfizer BioNTech at the beginning had a storage of -80 to -60 degrees, very, very low. Just like I mentioned at the beginning of this session, that because this is an emergency use authorization, data are still being gathered. And it is the same thing, safety monitoring data are still being gathered. It's the same thing with the quality data, the stability data. So maybe after 2 months of the first announcement of Pfizer BioNTech being approved, they got a new data that now it can be stored between -15 and -25 degrees centigrade, which is freezer temperature. So it is no longer ultra low temperature. However, once it is getting out of the freezer, you can only return it to the freezer once. After that, you have to use it, meaning you cannot go back and forth. That's what is called the freeze-thaw cycle that can break any product down quickly. So if I get you right, the person that asked the question, we have the capability in Nigeria primary health has the capability. It may not be for the country-wide distribution, but we have the capability because the freezer temperature is minus 20 degrees. So long as it is used, once it is stored at the freezer and without going back and forth, the Pfizer BioNTech, I believe the storage conditions will not be a problem.
The DG also clarified the issue of where vaccination can be assessed in Nigeria.
Is this vaccine limited to government facility? Yes. It is the Federal Ministry of Health and Primary Health that are in charge of vaccination in Nigeria. So a private facility hospital cannot, unless they go through the Ministry of Health or Primary Health.
With regards to other vaccines being considered for approval by the agency, Professor Adeyeye affirmed the agency's position.
Our committee has been working round the clock to review several dossiers. And Johnson & Johnson is one of them. We are still working on that. So as soon as we finish, we will give a short press briefing about that. Thank you.
The approval of the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine means that millions more Nigerians can be protected against the virus, and the country is on its way to achieving herd immunity and better positioned to stamp out COVID-19 from the nation.
As part of NAFDAC concerted effort to prevent incessant food poisoning and to safeguard the health of the nation, the agency wishes to advise the general public to take the following precautionary measures in food handling. Chemicals are not food, so do not taste with your tongue. It is dangerous to health and it can kill. It is dangerous to cook your meat with paracetamol or any drug. It can damage your liver, kidneys, or other organs. Do not ripen your fruits with calcium carbide. It can cause cancer or damage the kidneys or liver. It is dangerous to use sniper to keep insects and other flies away from any food products. Cooking does not remove sniper. Do not consume any mixture or herbal preparation that do not have NAFDAC number. It could be deadly. Too much monosodium glutamate food seasoning that comes as cube or in sachet can be dangerous to your health. Do not add any chemical to food or drink to make it sour or improve taste. Safe food. Everyone's business. NAFDAC. Safeguarding the health of the nation.
That's our package for today. Please join us same time, same station next week for a fresh edition. In the meantime, if you have comments, complaints, or you want to report activities of fake drugs or adulterated food product peddlers, our doors are always open. You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email reforms@nafdac.gov.ng or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded. Remember, COVID-19 is real. Please ensure you and your family follow the safety measures as outlined by the NCDC. Stay away from crowded places as much as possible. If you must be out there, wear a face mask. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water and ensure you use only NAFDAC-approved alcohol-based hand sanitizers. See you next week. Stay safe.